Welcome to the Make and Design Podcast. I'm your host, Carina Gardner. On this podcast, we're unraveling the everyday joys and dilemmas of design, making, and business. For makers who want to be designers and for designers who are makers, this is your inside scoop to help you grow your business and bring more creativity to your life. Last week, I was on a beautiful hike with my family, and as we were driving into the canyon, I live in a place where we can go up into the mountains, and it was beautiful and red, and all the leaves were so gorgeous. And then as we got further in, it became all yellow because it was like aspen trees, and it was just absolutely gorgeous. The weather was perfect. I had packed a charcuterie picnic, and the weather was just absolutely lovely, and I remembered why I love fall so much. And I was thinking about this because I was thinking about how we're headed into winter. And for those of you who were in Utah and probably any of the northern states, last winter was like the crazy snowfall of a winter. It was insane. And I felt, we live kind of on a side of a mountain in a subdivision that's like kind of up a little bit. And there was so much snow. It was crazy. And we happened at the time to also purchase, like in March. So like not even winter, but like March, we had purchased our Bear Lake house and we had to get it ready for rental. And when we went up to Bear Lake, it was still May and still snow. And it was icy and it was cold and it was hard to move things in and the roads weren't fully plowed and it was just crazy. And I was just thinking about how good I am at really remembering what's happening right now and forgetting what happened in the past. Now, some people would say this is a really good thing, but I was thinking about how it's actually a good and a bad thing, especially as a designer. I think I very often will sort of remember some of the stuff that I've worked on, some of the designs that I've created. And then there are other times where I completely forget what I have made and I accidentally will make something again or make it like, thinking that I haven't hit that demographic. Let me give you an example of this. I think I have maybe, who knows, maybe 20 sets of swirls. And part of it is because I like to doodle them, but also because I forget how many I have. And maybe it's time, Carina, to move on to something other than swirls. But it is just really funny as human beings, not just as designers, how we tend to forget the things that we've already done, and we're really good at living in this particular moment. And sometimes that moment is very happy, like my trip up into the mountains with my kids, and sometimes it's a little anxious, sometimes it's a little worrisome, sometimes it's a little sad, or the one I hate the most, you guys, is boring. How often do we feel a little bored and so we have to pick up our phones, or we feel a little bored and so we have to turn on the TV, or we feel a little bored and we need something to entertain us? And instead, sometimes when we have that quiet time, what will happen instead is we will come up with great ideas, things that we've been wanting to do, thoughts that maybe we should be having as they're swirling around in our head of great ideas for designs. And so that got me thinking, this whole long thing, just to say, it got me thinking about making space in your brain for ideation, which is the first stage of our design process model. When we make space for ideas, then there is more for us to implement, which of course then in turn gives us more to produce and more to sell. But a lot of times we don't actually give ourselves the space for even ideas. We're so busy scrolling social media to keep from being bored. And we might say, oh, that's a great idea. And then we move on. We don't actually intake that idea, process it, and think about how could I do that? How could I do that better? How could I do that in a more interesting way? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? How many of you, if you guys are in the room with me, I'd have you raise my hand. If you're in the chat with me on a Zoom, I would say, how many of you actually give yourself time during the day, even just 5 minutes, to think, to stop and to think. I know I kind of struggle to do that. 5 minutes is a long, long time. And my challenge to you today, as we move into Thanksgiving for some people, or fall for some people, or a season of gratitude, is to give yourself a little bit of time to think, like quiet thinking. And it doesn't have to be structured, doesn't have to be like, I have to think about these things. I just want you to give yourself the open time to think. I think there is a reason why so many good ideas happen in the shower. I think there's a reason why so many good ideas happen in the bathtub. It's because there's nothing there but the ability for us to think, to have the open space to just have ideas, to come up with ideas, to let our brain process the things we've done during the day so that all that synergy comes together and produces a brand new idea. I think that there isn't enough processing time in our brain or reflection time in our brain to be able to do that. So I think that there are some times that you can make for yourself to think, and heck, if now that you know this, spend an extra 5 minutes in the shower if you need to get this ideation time in there. Okay. I think there are a lot of people who spend a lot of time in ideation, but not enough people who spend enough time in open thinking space. And that's my challenge to you, is to get that done. All right, you guys, we're going into November. I hope you guys are having a great Halloween. I know we are at my house, and hopefully you've been enjoying my Instagram feed as we've been trying to post so many things, like so many things on the feed, so much content and challenges and all the good stuff. So I hope that you are hanging out with me. It's just at Carina Gardner. And if you're on the YouTube channel or the podcast, I love having you here. Keep listening in. I can't wait to see you guys at the summit, which is just happening in a week. So come join me for that. Just go to carinagardnercourses.com/summit or design summit to enter, like, come for free. And we have giveaways and so many other good things. All right, guys, thanks so much, and I'll see you soon. Hey, did you know that you can visit me at makeanddesign.com to learn more about this podcast and join my VIP group for weekly freebies? I can't wait to see you there.